U.S. has 59 national parks, which make up some of the most diverse ecosystem in our country. From sea to sea and mountaintop to valley floor, America is wild and beautiful. So strap on your boots and follow me as I hike, climb, and discover America's national parks. I'm Alice Ford, and this is National Park Adventures. Welcome to Death Valley. This is America's largest national park with over 3 million acres. It also holds the records for being the lowest, hottest, and driest place in America. Join me as I explore many known locations and many few have ever explored. This is Death Valley. Death Valley is a land of extremes. In 1933, under Herbert Hoover, Death Valley became a national monument, but it wasn't until 1994 that it became a national park. When most people think of Death Valley, they think about the iconic sand dunes. So right behind me, Mesquite Valley Sand Dunes, and it's one of the most popular places here in Death Valley. When most people think of the desert, they think of sand dunes. But in reality, sand dunes take up less than 1% of all the desert in the world. These hills were once rich in gold, silver, lead, and borax, and people flocked by the thousands in hopes of striking it rich. Just a few miles outside the edge of Death Valley sits one of Nevada's most interesting ghost towns. Rhyolite sprang to life in 1904 when two prospectors struck gold, and by 1908 it was already the third largest town in all of Nevada. Walking down this street you would have seen a vibrant town. Ice cream parlors, social houses, and stores. But today just a few buildings remain. The most famous of these buildings still standing is the Kelly Bottle House. Originally built in 1905, this truly unique building used almost 30,000 bottles from the local saloon. Building materials were pretty hard to come by in those days, so people truly got creative. With a decline in mining and an economic recession, by 1916, Rhyolite had almost been completely abandoned. In 1917, the once iconic railroad station pulled up its rungs to give the iron to World War I, the power was turned off, and Rhyolite became a ghost town. I'm standing here in Titus Canyon, one of the most popular areas in all of Death Valley for the backcountry. Not all of Death Valley is for the faint of heart. Adventure awaits around every corner. Look how big this rock is! Death Valley sits on a fault line, and here in Titus Canyon you can really see the evidence of that. There are multiple layers in all of the rock here, and it's just one of the many unique features here in Death Valley. Some of the other points of interest in Death Valley are Badwater Basin, the lowest place in America, Yuba Havey Crater, which is a volcanic crater 600 feet deep, and Zabriskie Point, one of the most famous areas for its spectacular view. I'm sitting here at Salt Creek, the last remaining source of water in all of Death Valley. Over 10,000 years ago, this whole area was a lake. And I don't know if you can see down here below me, but swimming in the stream is a little fish called the pupfish. The pupfish was named for its playfulness during mating season, but is more commonly known for its living representation of evolution. And here is a real symbol of life in Death Valley. One of the biggest mysteries of Death Valley is the mysterious sliding rocks of Racetrack Playa. That's where I'm heading now, a 26-mile journey straight through the heart of Death Valley. If you're adventurous enough to visit Racetrack Playa, you need a high-clearance vehicle and a tire repair kit for luck. It's been a treacherous 20 miles, but it's customary to stop here at Tea Kettle Junction and leave a kettle for good luck. So here's to the next 6 miles. We'll see you at Racetrack Playa. Hopefully my tea kettle will still be here in a few hundred years. Specked across the landscape on the way down to Racetrack Playa are thousands of trees. To most people, they think this is a cactus, but this is actually a Joshua tree. All right, I made it to Racetrack Playa, 26 miles from the nearest paved road, and boy was it bumpy. I'm really excited to go see these moving rocks though, so let's go. This lake bed, like most in Death Valley, dried up when the climate changed. But here, it left behind the iconic beige mud that's almost 1,000 feet thick. What is it about these mysterious rocks and their seemingly long tails that seem to appear out of nothing? For over 50 years, the moving rocks have been a mystery. But in 2014, scientists witnessed ice on the playa breaking apart, and with the help of the wind, rocks slid across the lake bed. Mystery solved. One of the other unique things about Racetrack Playa, other than its mysterious moving rocks, is its remoteness. Less than 10% of all park visitors ever get a chance to make it to Racetrack Playa. And for me, it's one of the most unique and beautiful places I've ever seen. The sun is setting here on the sand dunes of Death Valley. Looking around at this vast and beautiful wilderness, I wish I had lots more time to explore. But I'm off to Utah to explore Zion National Park. Let me give you a tip about how you can leave your memory. All you need is a simple print. Welcome to Zion National Park. Zion seemingly rises out of nothing to create one of the most amazing national treasures in America. Revered for thousands of years and a sacred place for many, this national park is a mecca for those looking to backpack, camp, and canyoneer. Utah has 5 national parks. Its first, Zion, was formed in 1919. Filled with slot canyons, waterfalls, and mystifying geologic masterpieces, it has been a special place since its first inhabitants some 12,000 years ago. Zion has many points of interest. Located just half a mile from a shuttle stop, Weeping Rock is fed by an underground spring. The water seeping from the rock is said to take 1,000 years to make its way through the sandstone. The Emerald Pools Trail is a Zion classic. Easily located across from the Zion Lodge, this is one of the more family-friendly trails. I've reached the middle pool, one of 3 stops along the Emerald Pools Trail. There is the lower, middle, and upper, and you can choose to go as far or as little as you choose. I'm currently hiking the Kayenta Trail on my way to the grotto. The Grotto Trail is located on the base of Zion and is just a leisurely stroll along the Virgin River, connecting Zion Lodge with the trailhead to Angel's Landing. One of the more recognized features right near Zion's main entrance is the Court of the Patriarchs. One of the great things about Zion is that in an effort to reduce our human footprint, they've installed an easy-to-get-to shuttle system to get to every location in the park. Zion gets millions of visitors every year, but what most of them miss is this hidden gem in the northwest corner, Kolob Canyon. It's filled with easily accessible trails and beautiful scenery. Maybe hiking isn't your thing. Well, that's okay, because Zion has plenty of easily accessible nature trails where you can just lounge around and enjoy the scenery. It's images like the one behind me that have captivated people's minds and imaginations for centuries. It's no wonder why Zion is one of America's most visited parks. Leaving Zion's main entrance and traveling east, you'll pass through one of the world's longest tunnels at 1.1 miles. This tunnel opened in 1930 and was carved completely by hand. One of the first trails when you exit the tunnel is Zion's Canyon Overlook. I'm just about halfway up and I'm exploring this cool cavern. So far, it's been a harrowing journey as most of the trail is on the edge of a cliff. I'm sitting at the gateway to the eastern section of Zion at the Canyon Overlook, where you can see much of Zion behind me. The eastern section is one of the least visited parts of the park and sits at a much higher elevation. This is where you can find a lot of the more technical and advanced hikes and climbs. You may not be an advanced hiker or climber, but you should still take the time to come and explore the eastern side of Zion, even if it's just to see these amazing rock formations and the waves they've created. My time in eastern Zion is almost up, so it's time to put my other eyes in the sky. For its slot canyons, and people come from all over the world to experience the Narrows. Behind me is the trailhead, and I'm really excited to get started. It's about a mile in, and then I'm changing into my gear because the rest of the way we're wading up the river. Let's go exploring. The first part of the Narrows Trail is a leisurely walk along the Virgin River, suitable for anyone. This is where the Narrows Trail becomes more advanced. The trail becomes the river, and it's important to be prepared. In the winter, dry suits are recommended, but in the summer, shorts and t-shirts are fine as long as you have appropriate footwear. And don't forget your dry bag because you're going to want to take a picture. This is what the Narrows is all about. As you can see, I'm literally wading through the river. And as we continue upstream, the canyon walls are getting closer and closer together. It's truly one of the most unique experiences anyone could ever have. One of the coolest things about these slot canyons is that they've literally taken thousands, if not millions of years to form. The river that I've been wading in years and years ago was actually way up at the top of these canyons. Over time, the river eroded the sandstone and shale, and now we have the beautiful slot canyon that we see here today. In the summertime, the Narrows is full of little pools like this one that you can take a dip in. But today, that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. This is just absolutely gorgeous. The canyon behind me is starting to get narrower and narrower. To 300 feet above me as the canyon continues to narrow. This is the narrowest section of the Narrows. It's what people from all around the world come to experience. The trail itself is really a choose-your-own adventure, stretching over 9 miles through the canyons. Whether you decide to do it all and spend the night camping out, or just do a small portion, it's got a little bit of something for every adventurer. It's been an absolutely unforgettable day exploring the Narrows. I can't wait to come back and try it again in the summer. But in the meantime, I think I'm ready for a hot cocoa and a slice of bumbleberry pie. There's only one place in the world where you can get bumbleberry pie, and that's right here in Zion at the Bumbleberry Inn. After a long and exciting day in the Narrows, a slice of mystery pie is just what I need. They've been making bumbleberry pie here for 57 years, and I'm about to take my first bite. Wow, that's delicious. My time here in Zion has been absolutely incredible, and there's so much more that I haven't had a chance to see. I'm off to my next national park, Bryce Canyon. Welcome to Bryce Canyon. I've just arrived in this beautiful national park, which was formed in 1928. It's famous for its geologic formations, called hoodoos, and is a favorite place for many photographers. I'm here in the off-season. Normally this time of year there's upwards of 20 feet of snow. But since this year is such a mild winter, I'm going to have an even better chance of exploring these 35,000 acres. Bryce Canyon was once home to the Paiute Native Americans and was named after a Mormon homesteader in the 1870s, Ebenezer Bryce. Bryce Canyon sees just over 1 million visitors every year, and the majority of these people use the rim road to see the park. Built in 1934, this 18-mile scenic drive has 13 viewpoints. Bryce Canyon has several natural arches. One of the most famous is this natural bridge behind me, which is easily accessible along the scenic drive. One of the most well-known features here is Bryce Amphitheater. Sitting right behind me, this amphitheater is 12 miles across, 3 miles wide, and 800 feet deep in some places. People from all over the world come to see this. This is Rainbow Point. It's the last stop on the scenic drive and the highest point of Bryce Canyon at 9,100 feet. It's an absolutely stunning view, and on a clear day, you can see over 90 miles to neighboring state, Arizona. The Queen's Garden Trail is the most popular trail in Bryce Canyon and takes you on a slow descent to the canyon floor. It is the best place to view hoodoos up close, and also where you can see Queen Victoria and her garden. These large spires of rock stand some 200 feet tall and have been formed over millions of years. Hoodoos are formed from frost wedging, which happens when water gets in the rock cracks. As the water expands, it creates larger cracks in the rock, changing the plateau into smaller and smaller sections and eventually these tall spires. This way to the Queen's Garden. I'm at the end of the Queen's Garden Trail, and as you can see behind me is Queen Victoria's garden. They say if you use your imagination, you can see the Queen looking out over her garden. Bryce Canyon may be small in comparison to other national parks, but they have some fantastic programs and activities all year long. Skiing and snowshoeing in the winter, and hiking and horseback riding in the summer months. They also have some great ranger-led activities which include moonlight hikes, nature walks, and their public stargazing events which bring an international following. Bryce Canyon is the last sanctuary of natural darkness and is one of the best places in the world to see stars. Every year in June, people from around the globe come here for the annual Astronomy Festival. I've had a fantastic time exploring Death Valley, Zion, and Bryce Canyon, and I hope to see you in my next national park. But until next time, I'm Alice Ford. Never stop exploring.